staring at the walls when you live in a house. When I had got to the end of living in my house, which I owned for 15 years, I'd started to look around at the four walls, stare at these walls, and feel trapped and felt like a prisoner. And I'm like, what am I doing here? I can't leave because it felt like such an overwhelming task to sell my property. I don't want to stay in this house just to stay in it because there's nothing to do. When at the end of owning a house, it was like almost like the only thing to do is just eat and watch TV. Most of the time in the house, once you have it fixed up the way you want, which is a huge burden itself, you buy a house and then you're going to spend most of the time fixing it up how you want, which never ends. And even when you get all the work done, what's left to do is stare at the walls, eat food, and watch TV. And that's when I really said, I got to get the hell out of here. I'm not happy here. I don't want to live this life. And two, I became obese at one point, and there's just nothing else to do in that house but just eat. If you're not, when you own a house, you're either going to be fixing that house, eating, staring at the walls, or watching TV. And then when you've totally exhausted all those things, you're going to invite other people over because you're bored as hell. All you're doing is staring at the walls. Living a nomadic life, living a life mobile, on the road, living out of my car, it's allowed me every day, it pushes me, and it gives me the incentive or the only option to just get out there, enjoy life, enjoy the walls of earth, and just go outside and move and drive to where I want to spend my time, and to be engaged in outdoor activities, and to push myself not to be confined to staring at walls, eating food. The nomadic life, living out of your car, van, or RV, depending on how you choose to live mobile, there's some downside, especially when it comes to parking and that whole process. But once you figure that out, whether it's with campgrounds, you keep it moving at Walmarts or truck stops or whatever you're going to do, rent a place to park or whatever. The good part about it is you're no longer confined to staring at the walls, eating food, and daydreaming about what you'd like to do with your life. A conforming life is that. It's you wake up, probably going to tinker, either renovate, clean, do some type of work on your house, buy something for your house, buy some type of home decor, and then you're going to stare at the walls. Oh, that's nice. Look at that picture on the wall. That's nice. And I did that. Living in your car, living mobile, some type of way, you wake up and you're forced to engage life, to be outside, to do activities. And I wanted that. I didn't want to stare at my walls anymore. This is one of the thoughts that really was burning on my mind during the last couple years of owning my house. I owned a house for 15 years. In the beginning, it was about, I was in my 20s, so it was about inviting people over, whether it was to show off my house or whether it was to court women. And then you get past that, then I got a dog, and then it was basically just about, eating, watching TV, spending time with my dog in my house. Then after my dog passed, that's when it really hit me. I was like, I don't want to get another dog. I don't want to get in a relationship. I don't want to invite people over. And then all I was left with was just looking at the four walls of my house. And I said, if I stay in this house, the only thing to do is just eat food and watch TV. I don't want to do that. I don't want to spend my weekend working on my house, thinking about my house. I want to spend my weekend outdoors. I want to move to an area, which for me it's Florida, where there's a lot of outdoor activities. I want to look at the beautiful ocean, lakes, palm trees, greenery, breathe fresh air. And every day you're almost forced to do that. Now, for some people, they don't want to do that, so this lifestyle wouldn't be good. But for me, I want to do that. I don't want to stare at sheetrock walls. I want to stare at the ocean. I want to be outside. I want to be engaged in life, especially while I have my health, my youth, my vigor. I want to seize the moment of of my life and live my best life. And that's a glimpse into part of what drove me into living in my car because staring at the sheetrock walls of a condo, house, or apartment was killing me. It was suffocating me. The only thing to do is just eat food, watch TV, and watch other people live their dream. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to live my dream. And I wanted to share that with you. I think that's an important part of my journey on my thought process. So just a glimpse into one of the thoughts would push me to get out of a conforming lifestyle into a mobile lifestyle, and using technology to do it. In today's technology era, with phone, with remote jobs, with the gig economy, if you have your health and your youth and some vigor, there's a lot to be said. There's a lot you can do with your life. You're not confined to those four walls. There's a quote that says you're somewhat confined to the walls you build for your life. And, when you own a house, sometimes you're going to look up and you're going to say, this house owns me. And I'm confined to these walls. I don't want to be confined to walls. I want to live free as possible. Definitely in this season of my life, I always give myself the option to change my mind at any time. But 2 years living out of my car, I feel good. I feel good, and I feel thankful, and I feel fortunate to get out of that prison, that sheetrock wall prison. Peace and love.